Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Personal Growth Talk podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and I'm here with our amazing co-host, Julia.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here with you all again. Jason, today's topic is something we all deal with but often don't talk about enough. Negative thoughts.
Exactly, Julia. Negative thoughts are something everyone experiences at some point, and if left unchecked, they can really hold us back in life. Whether it's self-doubt, overthinking, or fear of failure, these thoughts can impact our mood, productivity, and even our relationships.
That's so true. But the good news is that negative thinking isn't permanent, and there are ways to address it. Today, we're diving into the topic of how to remove negative thoughts and sharing practical tips that can help anyone break free from this cycle.
Absolutely. In this episode, we'll start by understanding where these thoughts come from, why they happen, and how they affect us. Then, we'll explore actionable steps you can take to remove them and focus on more positive, empowering thoughts instead.
And don't worry, it's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending to be happy all the time. It's about learning how to shift your mindset and take control of your thoughts in a healthy way.
That's a great point, Julia. So, if you've ever found yourself stuck in a loop of negativity, this episode is for you. Make sure you stick around till the end because we'll also share some personal stories and tips to help you along the way.
And before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support means the world to us and keeps us motivated to bring you more content like this.
All right, let's get started. All right, Julia, let's start by understanding what negative thoughts really are. A lot of people think negative thoughts are just bad feelings, but there's more to it than that, right?
Absolutely, Jason. Negative thoughts are patterns of thinking that focus on fear, doubt, or criticism, whether it's about yourself, others, or situations around you. They often feel automatic, like a voice in your head pointing out what's wrong or what could go wrong.
That's so true. It's like your brain is on autopilot and it's stuck on all the what-ifs and I can'ts. But where do these thoughts come from, Julia?
Great question. Negative thoughts can come from a variety of sources: past experiences, societal pressures, or even our upbringing. For example, if someone grew up hearing a lot of criticism, they might develop a habit of self-criticism. Similarly, stressful situations like work deadlines or personal conflicts can trigger these thoughts.
So, it's like our brains are wired to protect us by focusing on potential dangers or failures, but instead of helping, it ends up holding us back.
Exactly. And what's tricky is that negative thoughts often feel believable, even when they're not based on facts. They can make you doubt your abilities, feel anxious, or even stop you from taking action.
That's so relatable. I think we've all been there, stuck in a loop of overthinking and focusing on what might go wrong instead of what could go right.
And that's why it's important to understand that these thoughts are normal, but they don't have to define you. Once you're aware of them, you can start taking steps to challenge and change them.
That's a great insight, Julia. Understanding the roots of these thoughts is the first step to overcoming them. And speaking of steps, let's move on to the practical ways to remove negative thoughts. Now that we understand what negative thoughts are and where they come from, let's talk about their effects. Julia, how do negative thoughts actually impact our daily lives?
That's a big question, Jason. Negative thoughts can have a ripple effect on almost every aspect of our lives. For starters, they drain your energy. When you're constantly focused on what could go wrong or what's not working, you feel mentally and physically exhausted.
That's so true. And they don't just stay in your head. They can affect your emotions and behavior too. For example, if you keep telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," It's easy to feel discouraged and avoid opportunities altogether.
Exactly. Over time, this can lead to a lack of self-confidence and even create anxiety or depression. Negative thoughts can act like a filter, making you see the world in a way that confirms your fears, even if the reality is very different.
And it's not just personal. These thoughts can spill over into relationships as well. If you're stuck in negative thinking, you might misinterpret what others say, assume the worst, or struggle to communicate effectively.
Right, Jason. It's like carrying a dark cloud everywhere you go. Even your physical health can be impacted. Stress from constant negative thinking can lead to headaches, sleep problems, and even weaken your immune system.
Wow, it's eye-opening how much of a toll negative thinking can take. But the good news is that these effects don't have to be permanent.
Exactly. Once you recognize the impact of negative thoughts, you can take steps to reverse them and replace them with healthier, more constructive patterns.
That's a great transition, Julia. Let's dive into the practical steps for removing negative thoughts next. All right, now it's time to get into the actionable part. How to actually remove negative thoughts. Julia, what's the first step people can take to tackle these thoughts?
The first step is awareness. You need to recognize when you're having negative thoughts. Sometimes they run in the background and you don't even notice them. Start by paying attention to your inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and acknowledge it.
That's such a powerful start. Awareness gives you the chance to take control instead of letting the thoughts spiral. What about the next step?
The second step is to challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or, what evidence do I have to support this thought? Often, negative thoughts are exaggerated or completely unfounded. For example, if you think, I'll never succeed, question it. Look at past successes, even small ones, to prove otherwise.
I love that. It's like being your own detective. Another effective step is to practice gratitude. When negative thoughts take over, shift your focus to what's going right in your life. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. It's a simple habit, but it rewires your brain to notice the positives.
Exactly. And here's another one. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, I'm learning and I'll get better. Positive affirmations may feel strange at first, but over time they build confidence and resilience.
Great point, Julia. Lastly, let's not forget mindfulness and meditation. Taking a few minutes each day to focus on your breath or be present in the moment can help you calm your mind and break the cycle of negative thinking.
Absolutely. These steps take practice, but the more you work on them, the easier it becomes to manage and remove negative thoughts.
That's so true. And now that we've shared these steps, let's talk about some personal experiences and tips to make this process even more relatable. Now that we've covered some practical steps, let's dive into how these strategies have worked for us personally. Julia, do you have any stories or tips to share about dealing with negative thoughts?
I sure do, Jason. For me, one of the biggest shifts happened when I started practicing gratitude daily. I used to get overwhelmed by all the things that weren't going well, but when I started focusing on the positive, like a supportive friend or a small accomplishment, it changed my mindset. It was a game changer.
That's amazing, Julia. I had a similar experience with challenging negative thoughts. I used to struggle with self-doubt, especially when starting new projects. But I made it a habit to write down the evidence of my past successes, even the small ones. It helped me realize that I had the skills and resilience to succeed again. That simple shift made a huge difference.
I love that. It's so important to remind ourselves of our own strengths. Another tip I found helpful is meditation. When I feel like my thoughts are racing, I take a few minutes to just breathe and center myself. It's like hitting a reset button for my mind.
I totally agree. Meditation isn't always easy at first, but with consistency, it really helps calm the mind. One thing that helped me was guided meditation apps. Having someone walk me through the process made it much easier.
That's a great tip. Another thing I've noticed is the power of talking things out. Sometimes just voicing my negative thoughts with a friend or even journaling helps me see things more clearly and realize that my fears are often exaggerated.
Absolutely. And being kind to yourself is key. Negative thoughts are part of being human, but how we respond to them makes all the difference.
So true. Remember, everyone has these moments. The key is to not let them control you.
All right, now that we've shared some strategies and personal experiences, let's turn it over to you, our amazing listeners. We want to hear from you. What's your experience with negative thoughts?
Yes. Have you ever felt stuck in a cycle of negativity? What have you tried to overcome it? Maybe you have a tip or strategy that works for you. Share it in the comments section below. Your story might inspire someone else who's listening.
And if you're not sure where to start, here's a quick question for you. What's one thing you're grateful for today? Even something small, like a sunny day or a good conversation, counts. Reflecting on gratitude can be the first step toward shifting your mindset.
That's such a great way to start, Jason. And here's another idea. If you found any of the steps we mentioned today helpful, let us know. Did practicing gratitude, challenging negative thoughts, or using positive affirmations make a difference for you?
We'd love to hear your thoughts, and don't forget to connect with us in the comments. We read every single one, and your feedback helps us create content that's meaningful to you.
And if you enjoyed this episode or found it helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with someone who might need a little encouragement today.
That's right. Together, we can create a positive, supportive community where we help each other grow.
So, let us know. What's your go-to strategy for dealing with negative thoughts? We can't wait to hear from you.
Wow, Julia, this has been such an insightful conversation. Negative thoughts might seem overwhelming, but as we've discussed today, they're manageable with the right strategies and mindset.
Absolutely, Jason. To our listeners, remember that you're not alone in facing these challenges. It's all about taking small, consistent steps. Being aware of your thoughts, challenging them, and replacing them with positivity.
That's right. And don't forget, progress takes time. Be patient with yourself and celebrate even the smallest victories along the way. Every positive step counts.
If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to put some of these strategies into practice and let us know how they work for you. And if you have any questions or need more tips, drop us a comment. We'd love to continue the conversation with you.
And here's the most important part. Share this episode with someone who might need it. You never know who could benefit from hearing these tips. Let's spread positivity together.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming episodes. We have so many exciting topics to cover that can help you on your personal growth journey.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring.
We'll see you next time on Personal Growth Talk Podcast. Until then, take care of yourself and remember, you have the power to overcome negativity and create the life you deserve.
Bye for now and stay positive.